Hello there guys, from Dublin and Heuston railway station, which is just across the way there. Why am I here? Well, I'm catching a train all the way over to Cork, and a journey time of about 2.5 hours, and I'm doing it in first class. So why don't you come with me and we'll see what it's like, and I'll catch you on the train. Opened in August 1846, Dublin's Heuston railway station was originally named Kingsbridge Station, but in 1966 it was renamed Heuston Station after Sean Heuston, one of the leaders of the 1916 Easter Rising. I'm entering from the front here, where you've got the usual assortment of shops either side of you, and as you enter the main train shed area, the roof lets in quite a lot of light, so yeah, it did feel quite open and airy to me. In front of the main platform was a large, clear and easy to read departures board, and plenty of space for people to congregate whilst waiting for platform announcements. Right, okay, so the Cork train is on the board, but the platform hasn't been announced yet, so I guess people are just hanging around waiting for that to happen. We're half an hour early anyway at the moment, so that's not a problem, is it? Have a little bit more of a look around the station, I think, before we depart. Yeah, so I wandered out the north entrance where you have the River Liffey running past the station. And looking back at the building, well, yeah, I thought it was a terminus to be honest, but when I was researching for this video I found that there are actually 8 terminal platforms and 1 through platform, platform 10, which is on the Phoenix Park tunnel line that connects to Connolly Station nearer to the centre of the city. However, this platform is not actually used for any regularly scheduled trains apparently, so yeah, do let me know if you know otherwise. And on the south side here, situated in this lovely hall, is the main ticketing area. Well, I headed back into the main concourse where a rush of people indicated to me that the platform for my train had just been announced. Okay, so yeah, most of the people in the hall there were all waiting for the platform to be announced for the Cork train. Platform 6B is the one, so we're all on a bit of a dash down there now. It's one of the furthest ones away as well. The platforms seem to be a bit staggered here, 1 to 5 in the main area and 6, 7 and 8 down the far end. Let's go and have a look at what the train's like. Now, after quite a walk, here was my train, a Class 22,000 diesel multiple unit. Now I'll tell you a bit more about the train once I've got my breath back. Oh right, well, it was not too bad. I'm on board. The first class area is not very big at all, and it's really busy. But I managed to find a seat, an unreserved seat as well, because yeah, at least 50% of the seats were reserved, and I managed to get a window seat as well. So a little bit of a look around. I don't know what you get on board yet. We will see. But yeah, at least I'm on the train. So yeah, the weather's gone off a bit, but hopefully we'll get some decent shots on the way. Yeah, the first class section was just half a carriage, and I'll show you why in a little while. As we were waiting to depart, a CAF Mark IV train set rolled in with the 4001 DVT at the front and a Class 201 locomotive at the rear. Now, this was the kind of train I was hoping to catch, but yeah, it looked a much better ride, although I would have had to cope with the horrible blue tinted windows. If you want to know what that looks like, check out my good friend Johnny Hoover's video on it, and I'll link to it here. Anyway, we left Heuston 2 minutes later, blue skies had returned, and I settled in for the journey. So the first class seating was right at the front of the train, but there was no conventional yellow stripe on the outside to indicate this, so I did have to ask one of the train crew upon boarding. And then I noticed that on the window was a little Premier sticker, which I suppose is Irish Rail's answer to first class. The trolley service started pretty much straight away, to be fair. I was offered complimentary tea or coffee. There were loads of other snacks on the trolley, but I got the impression these weren't free. Well, not at this stage anyway. I went for a cup of Barry's tea, enjoying the scenery as we travelled past the many sheds, tracks, wagons and assorted locomotives of Irish Rail's Inchicore Railway Works. Who is Barry anyway? Do let me know in the comments below. Outside Dublin, we're soon heading into open countryside, crossing into County Kildare, and we travel past the famous Curragh racecourse before entering into the town of Kildare itself, and then St Bridget's Park, where I think they play Gaelic football. Just after Kildare, the location of these dilapidated buildings, possibly an old signal box, marked the junction of the single track line down to Waterford. But we stay heading west, passing lots of sections of track here, and at this point I thought it was worth having a quick look at the seat. Well, it was comfortable enough at this stage. No antimacassar on the headrest, that would have been a nice touch, and quite a solid back with a much more cushioned bottom section. There didn't seem to be any recline on these seats, not that I could find anyway. Retractable armrests at the side and between the seats, working double USB provision, and if that wasn't enough, big sturdy conventional power sockets underneath. The legroom was very good and the floor was carpeted and clean, which was also good to see. Now I was in one of only 2 airline style seats in this section, which was itself a 2-2 seating configuration. All the other seats were table facing. Now table lights were provided, which gave the seat an element of refinery, and the table itself was solid and large enough to cope with all my rubbish. I was in a priority seat, as you can see here, but I did have a bad foot, remember. And there's a digital reservation display above a large window, which was tint free, fortunately, but you will also notice it was blindless. Overall, yeah, it was fine. I've had better seats, I've had worse. I think the older Mark IV train sets, they're probably better comfort wise, but yeah, this one's okay in itself. We stopped eventually at the sparsely populated Portarlington station. I'm not even sure why, it wasn't timetabled to stop here, so yeah, if you've got any ideas, please let me know. Maybe the driver was practicing or something, I don't know, but yeah, anyway, soon after that, somebody decided to walk into the first class compartment and stand right behind me and have an angry conversation with someone on a phone. I have no idea why. I seem to attract this sort of thing, and you know what, I could be sitting in a totally empty restaurant, for example, and like one other diner will come in and then they'll decide to sit like right next to me, and it just happens to me all the time. This do you ever get that? Please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, we arrived at rainy Portlaoise 8 minutes late at 14:50. This was our first actual timetabled stop, and there were quite a few people waiting to get on. The weather really was taking a turn for the worse though, and yeah, just after leaving the station we passed some substantial yards on the left, which seemed to be for track replacement wagons, I think, and then Leisure Train Care Depot with its handful of DMUs. I went to have a look at the accessible toilet on the train, which appeared to thank me for locking the door. Fair enough. Anyway, yeah, baby changing was clean. Remember not to forget where you left them if you wander off. Opposite that was a sink with hot running water, liquid soap and an airdryer. There are plenty of toilet roll, big mirrors, all worked, everything clean, absolutely no issues at all. Good toilet. Well then guys, you're about an hour into the journey. It's an old kind of kitchen area, servery kind of thing here. Actually not used anymore, unfortunately. Not too bad, we're running a little bit late, but yeah, I'm not in any rush to be honest. It's not bad train. Weather's picking up again, and that way to standard class, and it's not called first class, it's called Premier, and you can just kind of see that on the door there. How much it differs from standard class. I'm not too sure. I'm going to have a look at that in a bit. But yeah, not bad at the moment. Yeah, quite enjoying it. A shame the kitchen wasn't open really. I'm not sure how long it had been closed for, but yeah, you know what? If it's never going to be used again, just get rid. Fill the space with more seating. Coming into Ballybrophy now, and we were 7 minutes late. We arrived into platform 2, and notice the platforms are even numbered here, with platforms 1 and 3 over the bridge. Is this common on Irish Railways? I would have thought platform 2 should be platform 3, with 1 and 2 over the bridge, if you see what I mean. A freight train hauled by a class 071 and number 075 in the current Irish Rail freight livery was taking a break here over on platform 4. And another thing, the onboard digital display doesn't actually tell you when the next station is or what it is, but it does tell you how far away it is. Yeah. Anyway, I can tell you the next station was actually Thurles, where we arrived at 15:21, 2 minutes late. And well, watch out for the level crossing to nowhere here as we leave the station. Did you see it? Okay, the scenery was pretty average to be honest, and yeah, it was a good time to check out the Wi-Fi, and that worked well actually. It loaded up YouTube and X, no problem at all, and there were no restrictions on it either. Okay, so a little bit about the train itself, and in service since 2007, these class 22,000 diesel multiple units were constructed in South Korea and Japan apparently. Now, they were the first to be built specifically for Irish Rail intercity routes such as this one. Now, with a maximum speed of about 99 miles per hour, that's more than enough for this line currently. And they were refurbed between 2019 and 2022 with newly upholstered seats and USB provision. But personally, I would have probably removed the kitchen area and maybe fit more seats in, or even change it to a 2-1 configuration in first class. I mean, our consist was made up of 6 cars today, and yeah, it was still pretty busy. Now, Limerick Junction next, and we crossed the Limerick to Waterford single track line just before entering the station. Now, Limerick Junction is a long way from Limerick itself. It's more like Tipperary actually, and yeah, Tipperary Racecourse is directly outside the station here to our right. We were about 10 minutes late now, which I suspect was mainly because we were waiting for another train, and that may well have been the connection from Limerick. I had a quick wander into standard class, which seemed to have emptied out a bit, but yeah, to me there didn't really seem much difference between this and premier class. It looked quite comfortable really, providing you could get a decent seat in Dublin. Anyway, the scenery still wasn't really grabbing my attention much, though the weather was still pretty decent. We were 15 minutes late by now and heading into Mallow, where we actually arrived at 15:27.
We will shortly be arriving at Mallow. Passengers for Banteer, Mill Street, Rathmore, Killarney, Farranfore and Tralee should change here for their connecting train. Thank you for travelling with Euro Air.
Just after the main platform area here, and look out for the footbridge over by Thomas the Tank Engine. Now, I'm presuming this used to span the main line, and it's good that they've kept it really, isn't it? But yeah, I think they probably need to add a few bits back to it if it's ever going to be used again. And at 4 o'clock, the trolley made another appearance, but no complimentary anything was offered. And needless to say, nobody bought anything. And one lady did have a cup of tea, but not until the staff member had inquired as to whether she'd already had her free one or not. Yeah, anyway, we only had 40 minutes to go until Cork at that point, and yeah, before I knew it, we were heading through the tunnel on the approach to Kent railway station.
Next door, ladies and gentlemen, very shortly arrived at Kent Station. I'd like to apologise for the late arrival at the Kent Station Cork today due to adverse weather conditions damaging level crossings on our way down. Apologising in on behalf of our shed. Please mind the gap between the step and the platform, and please make sure you take all your personal belongings with you. Thank you, travelling with Irish Red.
Yeah, so the train manager's announcement apologised for the delay here, which apparently was due to adverse weather conditions and damaging level crossings. Now, due to arrive at 16:39, we actually pulled in at 16:52, which wasn't too bad really. An average speed around about 55 miles an hour, isn't it that? Now, price I paid for this trip, well, I was travelling on my Interrail pass, but ordinarily on the day an adult single at the time of this video would have been €32.99 standard and €42.99 in first, and that's not too bad really, is it that? Now, avoiding the catering trolley on my way out, I passed the sadly defunct kitchen area and made my way onto the platform to pretty windy conditions here in Cork. The weather started to become cloudy and grey again. Now, I took a look back at the train, which, okay, it's not as exciting as the loco-hauled service, is it? But it did its job, it was quiet and it was fairly smooth. Now, after exiting the station, I was about half a mile to my hotel where, after arrival, I just took a minute or two to sum up the experience. Right then guys, just got to my hotel room here in Cork, having travelled here with Irish Rail on their Dublin Heuston railway station to Cork Kent railway station service and their Class 22,000. Yeah, well, it was pretty average really, wasn't it? Let's be honest, it was an average train, average first class or Premier service as they call it, average catering at best. Average service and average speed, looking at average scenery through the window. But yeah, overall, yeah, it was okay, wasn't it? I'll tell you what, it's quicker than the bus. So yeah, if you're thinking about doing 165 miles, I think it is, between the two stations. So if you're thinking about doing it, yeah, I would probably recommend the train, to be perfectly honest, whichever one you want to take, whether it's this one or the loco-hauled service. I'm going to head out in a minute, get something to eat and drink. Cork is a great city, I really like it. Thank you very much for watching. I shall hopefully catch you on another video soon. And as always guys, cheers for now.